Okay, my name is Scott Musser. I'm from Pasco, Washington. I'm a second generation auctioneer. Grew up in the business. I am past president of NAA and 2001 International Auctioneer Champion.
Okay, and now tell me a little bit about Musser Brother Auctions and what you guys do. I know you're in 4 different states, if I at least. I know you're based there. So talk a little bit about Musser Brothers and how that works for you.
So our firm is a family firm, started in 1956 by my parents and my 3 older brothers' parents, and we have evolved to operate in, well, we have offices in 5 offices in 4 states, operate in about a 5-state area. That's our core base: Washington, Oregon, Idaho, Montana, Wyoming. We do business in other states ancillary to that on a seldom basis. And we primarily, about half our business is selling real estate at auction, and the other half is primarily farm and ranch equipment, heavy equipment, some commercial industrial equipment, and recently public auto auction.
Now I know that previously you used to do a good portion of your stuff in person. What would the mix be of in person to online that you do now?
So in the last 24 months, we have eclipsed from 85% live auction for our personal property auctions and 15% online to about 95% online only and about 5% live. In our real estate auctions, we still do a majority of them in a live auction. We are starting to do some, probably 15-20% of our real estate auctions are an online auction. So still a majority of them are live, but our personal property auctions, with the exception of our public auto auction, is all online only.
I think I remember reading at one point, I think you guys did like a 94,000 acre ranch or something god awful huge like that.
Oh, we've sold a lot of different farms and ranches and commercial properties and land transactions. I mean, we sell for government agencies, we sell for private industries, private individuals. We've sold winery ground, farm ground, commercial office buildings, houses, single-family houses, residential development property. We had a nice project in November of 16 in Pasco. We sold 230 acres right inside the city limits of Pasco for our state, and that was a good project. I mean, you name the kind of real estate, we've sold it over time.
So let's talk a little bit about someone who is just wanting to get into equipment or real estate. Let's just pick either one of those that you'd like to talk about. What advice would you give to that person of 4 or 5 things that they're coming in, they're going to talk to you, they want to go to work in that area? What do you look for? What do you, there's some red flags, there's some green flags. What do you like to see? What do you hate to see?
So if you're brand new to this business, just got out of auction school or maybe contemplating going to auction school, how are you going to start your business, start your practice? You know, the barrier to entry to this business, to successful entry to this business, is tough. It's steep. And so my suggestions are align yourself with another operator in your area that's friendly, that will employ you, that lets you work with them, go help them out, offer to help them for free for a while, get some experience, get to know how they operate, what's going on, learn about the assets that you want to sell. Nobody in their right mind is going to hire a brand new auctioneer to sell their assets at auction that has no experience, no database, no marketing know-how. That's going to be very rare. So get a hold and get working with somebody. Become a member of your state association, become a member of your national association. Get over there and meet the people that operate. There's a lot of people available in those associations that will help you just by asking. And they'll help you avoid a lot of mistakes, because you do it right, you can last in this business forever, be very successful. Do it wrong and you won't last 6 months.
Okay, so now we've got the person that joined the NAA. I'm assuming they've gone to auction school. You've been all over the NAA and I've seen you everywhere I go. We've run into each other 100 times easily. And what are your thoughts about the big calling contest? Let's go there, because I haven't done it. Well, I was in it, but I didn't even make top 15. You've won it. somebody wants to get involved, how good of an idea was that you think, if you look back historically, getting involved in the IAC, was that a turning point, or was that just a little thing, or was that a great big thing for you?
No, the IAC is a great experience. I mean, it's a great experience. There's not everybody's going to win. I had the good fortune to actually win the thing in 2001. But they're only going to have one winner a year, so not everybody can be winners. But there's a lot of competitors that have competed in IAC, and then their state contests. You're going to build alliances, and you're going to learn. You're going to meet a lot of people. You're going to build some deep friendships. If you're going to get a lot of exposure. Prior to me winning the IAC, but just due to the exposure of competing in the IAC, I was invited over to Europe to work an auction over there that I thought was probably a one-off, and today I've made 200 plus trips to Europe working for that same company as a contract auctioneer, and that was instigated not by winning the IAC, because I hadn't even won it yet. It was instigated by my exposure that I had received through being in the IAC.
I had an experience a few years ago where a guy I knew that I had competed against in Missouri, and I believe he won that year, but I'm not sure. But Lucas Schneider came to his first NAA conference a few years ago. I think we were at the Galt House there, and I was taking him around and introducing him to people that I thought he should meet, and one of them was you. And the interesting thing about that is now when I run into Lucas, we have a bond because Lucas goes with you over to Europe now. And Lucas is a good guy. He's had a track record of selling heavy equipment and a track record of auto auctions. Yeah, a bid calling contestant, had done quite well. But so I can say firsthand that being plugged in and just being friendly to somebody that you know can turn into something completely life-altering for Lucas. I mean, he wouldn't be going to Euro auctions if he hadn't come out to the NAA, because you two would have never met. And if I hadn't gone to CAI and hadn't gone to into the NAA, you and I would have never met. I mean, just where would our paths have crossed? It just wouldn't have.
No.
And so I look at it, and I see these people arguing ad infinitum about benefits of joining organizations. I mean, we're living proof that it changes people's lives. You and I have never worked together. We know each other from classes. We know each other from serving. You've been serving. I've been serving. And I just think that people need to understand that part of that process is not just coming and showing up and leaving and never talking to people, but part of that process is, I think I've run into you more because you're serving and I'm serving and we're someplace away from our families, giving up our time and trying to make a better place for the rest of the members. And I think that's kind of how we know each other the most. I don't know if it's that or if it's being in classes together. Maybe it's a mix of both. But let's talk for just a minute, and then I'm gonna let you go, because that's I think time is the most precious thing we have. It isn't money, and time does not equal money. Time is way more valuable. Let's talk about CAI for just a minute. You and I have spent some time at Indiana University learning from people at the Certified Auctioneers Institute. What are your thoughts about that program? And I know this is called freeonlineauctionschool.com, but one of the things I'm trying to do here is trying to encourage people to go get plugged in and go get that education, and it's going to change their life. What was your experiences with CAI? I know what mine was, but tell me about yours.
You know, the CAI is a great advanced education program for auctioneers. It's not something you want to go to in your second year in the industry if you're brand new to it, but go out and get a little bit of experience in the industry, working for other companies, doing some things. And it's the higher degree, and you're going to go in there and get some very in-depth classes that go into far deeper detail and do a lot deeper dive on certain subjects that are going to be helpful. You're going to meet some great people. Again, the success of what your example with Lucas, that all happens just because of the networking that happens here at NAA. And were it not for you introducing him to me and him talking to me and everything just clicking just right, you're exactly right. But today he's a diamond flyer on Delta and flying 250,000 miles a year, going all over the world, and he's a pretty happy camper. But the CAI program, getting in the weeds there, the CAI program is a great advanced education about auctioneers. It's kind of your master's degree in auction marketing. Again, you're not going to come out of there with all the answers, but you are going to come out of there with a lot of contacts, a lot of resources. You're going to come, if you don't know the answer to something, a lot of times it's like you don't know the answer and you don't know where to get the answer. And CAI and NAA will change that. There's not a project I think that could ever fall in my or your lap that we wouldn't know pretty much on a moment's notice who we had to call to help us if we couldn't handle it ourselves. That's invaluable.
I'll go in and talk to people, and when I'm doing an interview, that's the tack I take, is that you just don't have an asset class that scares me. You got a 94,000 acre ranch. I got a friend who sold one before. Exactly. I think they sold 3 vineyards in 1 year.
Right.
I said, I'll pick you up, pick up the phone and call you. You know me, you know my wife, you know my son, you know my daughter. It's not like we just met. I'm gonna, somebody has an $84 million painting, I'm calling Tim Luke.
Right.
We have a Rolodex in our heads from all these people of who can help with almost anything, and it works both ways, and so I appreciate your time. I appreciate giving Lucas a chance. I think you guys sold, was it the largest crane auction in the world?
Yeah, we
did.
It was
like 2 miles of cranes or something?
Yeah, it was 135 or 145 very new heavy lift cranes. Largest offering of heavy lift cranes, mobile cranes that's ever been offered anywhere. And
some of those things were monsters.
They were monsters. Everything from, gee whiz, I forget now. I mean, they lift over 200-ton cranes and down to 30-ton cranes, and we had buyers from all over the world.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's the type of thing that Lucas is a guy from Hermann, Missouri.
Yeah.
Hermann, Missouri is known for vineyards. Beautiful country, gorgeous. If you ever get out that way, you got to go visit Lucas. It's not known for 2 miles of heavy cranes.
Right.
So I appreciate what you've done with him. I appreciate you taking the time to talk to me, and let's go join our friends.
Perfect.
Thank you so much.